Es fing an damit, dass man Anfang Dezember meine Wohnung durchsucht hat. In diesem Raum, den Sie da hinter mir sehen, hat sich also, ich weiß nicht, wie viele Polizisten sich da getummelt haben, aber 3 Mannschaftswagen standen vor der Tür. Ich war selbst nicht da. Ich war auf Mallorca zu dem Zeitpunkt. Meine Tochter und meine Enkeltochter waren da. Meine damals 4-jährige Enkeltochter wurde dann auch um 6 Uhr morgens von 2 Polizisten aus ihrem Bettchen geholt. Und man hat dann 12 Stunden lang diese Wohnung hier durchsucht, hat alles mitgenommen, was irgendwie nach Dokumenten aussah, Steuerunterlagen, Immobilienunterlagen, die Unterlagen der kirchlichen Stiftung, der ich vorstehe, Elektronik, Sticks, Telefone, tutto completo alles. Ja? Und dann hat man 4 Wochen später, als ich dann wieder nach Deutschland zurückgereist bin von Mallorca, mich am Flughafen beim Verlassen des Flugzeugs quasi im Finger mit mehreren auch schwer bewaffneten Polizisten abgefangen und mitgenommen und mir dann dort auch die mitgeführte Elektronik, Telefon, Computer, Unterlagen abgenommen. Ich musste mich bis auf die Unterwäsche ausziehen für eine Durchsuchung. Und man hat die Dinge fotografiert, die man mir nicht abgenommen hat.
Also das klingt alles ziemlich unglaublich. Also die Behörden, die Strafverfolgungsbehörden sind zum Finanzamt gegangen, haben ihre Steuerunterlagen rausgeholt und sie der Zeit gegeben, den Medien gegeben. Habe ich das richtig verstanden?
Das haben Sie genau richtig verstanden. Es ist natürlich nicht klar, wer in den Behörden das getan hat. Es ist so, dass jetzt mittlerweile auch das Landeskriminalamt Strafanzeige gegen Unbekannt wegen Geheimnisverrats und des Durchstechen von Dienstgeheimnissen an die Presse gestellt hat. Als ich die erste Strafanzeige gestellt habe vor einigen Monaten, hat sich erst mal eine Weile nichts getan. Dann habe ich ein Schreiben der Staatsanwaltschaft Karlsruhe bekommen, dass man das Verfahren eingestellt hat und dass man sich nicht weiter bemühen wird, die Täter zu finden. Als Zeuge können Sie nach 103 Strafprozessordnungen in diesem Land behandelt werden wie ein Verbrecher, wie ein Angeklagter, wie ein Beschuldigter. Und sie haben sogar noch weniger Rechte auf Rekur als ein Beschuldigter, denn die Akteneinsicht, die sie dann bekommen, die wird selektiv von der Staatsanwaltschaft dann vorgegeben.
German federal politicians are used to being criticized for their incompetence. Even when they realize that their critics are right, they remain undeterred. The experiences of Dr. Kroll correspond to my experiences and fears when I started my escape from Germany. However, if you react as irritably as one did to Dr. Kroll, you can easily imagine the measures a corrupt judiciary and its political accomplices are willing to take to protect their billion-dollar business. Unlike his fellow prosecutors who take care of organized crime, Mr. Badel made a fundamental mistake. He left his marks. His colleagues have it easier. Either the potential witnesses are not credible because they have a criminal record, or the traces that lead to them are in their own hands, such as Wirecard's business data. The corrupt German judiciary is extremely blatant in its abuse of office. After all, there are no controlling bodies. Authorities that are formally responsible are staffed by their own people. If you file complaints with the Ministry of Justice, they are not taken seriously and are dismissed easily. The judiciary itself has nothing to fear and is therefore in an extra-legal sphere. Mr. Badel just watched his colleagues in organized crime cashing in, and he came away with empty pockets. Moral concerns can therefore easily be dismissed.
Dieser Mann hätte kontrollieren müssen, ob alles mit rechten Dingen zuging. Hans-Josef Blumensatt, lange Jahre Chef der Generalstaatsanwaltschaft Frankfurt. Vor Gericht von Selbstkritik keine Spur.
Under these circumstances, of course, one cannot assume that a public prosecutor in Frankfurt would investigate Mr. Bouffier. Of course, no further action was taken against Mr. Rhein based on the Hells Angels wiretap records. After all, Mr. Rhein, as Hessian Interior Minister, did not have to have any moral concerns. He simply continued where a Hessian Interior Minister Bouffier had already started.
Innerhalb von 10 Jahren zahlt die hessische Justiz mehr als 12 Millionen Euro an die Gutachterfirma.
According to the Hessian judiciary, Badel, as head of the clan, received less than 3% of the proceeds. Anyway, he took a pretty big risk in committing this crime. Since the key witness against him is dead, only the public prosecutor knows how much actually ended up in his pockets. So the remaining 11 million disappeared without a trace.
Frankfurt am Main. Eine stolze Finanzmetropole mit einer imposanten Skyline und gleichzeitig der Ort, an dem vielleicht Deutschlands größtes Problemviertel existiert.
Auf wenigen Quadratkilometern versorgen hier 300 Dealer 5000 Junkies. Die Hälfte aller Straftaten in Frankfurt wird in eben jenem Bahnhofviertel begangen. Man sieht überall Spritzbesteck und Drogenhandel.
The phenomenon that the stupidest politicians always find their way into federal politics is simply because the illegal additional income, in addition to the regular income, makes it more attractive for corrupt regional politicians to stay in the provinces. Once, as a regional politician, you've got so much dirt on you. If you're on the stage of federal politics, you're with one foot in prison if you're endangered to be exposed, no matter how bold you are. Long before, people have stopped making secrets about their own corruption by not only tolerating the collateral damage, but also protecting it. Mr. Ryan was able to emerge from the affair completely undisturbed, without ever being prosecuted for his crimes. The public's gaze is not so much focused on the Prime Minister of a federal state. Mr. Olaf Scholz can tell you a thing or two about it. Facing the risk that his dealings as Hessian Interior Minister could one day be exposed, Mr. Ryan will certainly not be found in federal politics one day. With reference to my information about money laundering at Wirecard to the Munich Public Prosecutor's Office and to the Bavarian Ministry of the Interior, on November 6, 2021, I describe how all signs point to the fact that the German judiciary laundered its extorted protection money at Wirecard. Since the Bavarian Ministry of Justice did not respond to my letter dated March 15, 2021, it could not be assumed that clarification would be provided on this way. On November 9, 2021, the Federal Prosecutor General declared that he is not responsible. This contradicts his own statement according to which the Federal Prosecutor's Office protects our basic democratic order. As a result, the corrupt German judiciary can continue unmolested just like before. With reference to the political persecution I'm facing by the Bavarian Prime Minister and the refusal of the Public Prosecutor's Office to initiate investigations against corrupt prime ministers, I call on the Federal Prosecutor General to resign from his office on July 10, 2023. Just like the German Federal Minister of Justice, the Federal Prosecutor General is of course also aware of the corruption in the German judiciary and subsequently protects it. A resignation is therefore not expected, which is why the federal president will be asked to remove Mr. Frank from his post on July 13, 2023, so that his successor can combat the threat to the basic democratic order posed by a corrupt judiciary. The federal president did not answer. The assumption that an unanswered letter could also be due to the fact that authorities do not have the time to take care of every matter, and that one cannot therefore conclude that there was a compromising admission is refuted by the Munich Public Prosecutor's Office. When confronted with their contradictory behavior to that of the former Minister of Justice of North Rhine-Westphalia and the Frankfurt Attorney General's Office, it was announced on July 31, 2023, that they did not feel obliged to answer, as no new points of view were presented. The Attorney General's Office simply ignores this contradiction.
Die meisten Gewaltdelikte registrierte die Bundespolizei demzufolge am Hamburger Hauptbahnhof. Schon auf Platz 5 findet sich der Berliner Hauptbahnhof, obwohl dieser gar nicht in einem klassischen Bahnhofsviertel liegt. Doch was andernorts in Bahnhofsvierteln geschieht, spielt sich in der Bundeshauptstadt zum Beispiel hier ab, im Görlitzer Park. Auch hier dominieren überwiegend ausländische Drogendealer das Terrain. Auch hier kommt es immer wieder zu schweren Straftaten. Auch hier halten grüne Kommunalpolitiker seit Jahren ihre schützende Hand über die Missstände. Kann das noch Zufall sein?
It is not illegal for Renate Knast, the Greens, to advertise for her husband, the lawyer of the Abu Chakr clan, Rüdiger Porteus, when she demands that people should no longer call it clan crime. However, it would certainly be illegal if her husband served as a messenger for the Public Prosecutor's Office to forward demands for more protection money to the Abu Chakr clan. When I once terminated the lawyer Karas mandate and did not comply with the judge's demand to hire a lawyer from Fulda, Mr. Karras did not have the opportunity to approach to me as a messenger of such demands for protection money from the judiciary. On August 30, 2023, I sent a request to the Lobby Control Association asking for clarification as to whether Ms. Knest's statements should be understood as lobbying, if she is a member of the German parliament and advertising ambassador for her husband. She publicly takes sides on behalf of her husband's customers. In Germany, there is crime on the one hand and a corrupt judiciary on the other. In a miraculous way, these two sides find each other without significantly disturbing each other. I was able to show that there are no serious efforts in politics or in the judiciary to combat crime in the long term. Instead, public television produces reports that are intended to make the public believe that they have to accept the criminal structures due to cultural differences. The targeted search at the wrong place, not only at criminal clans, shows that the judiciary and politics pursue completely different goals. This behavior continues with the alleged investigation of the Wirecard-Scandal by the Investigative Committee of the German Parliament. Outside of the circles of perpetrators in politics and the judiciary, based on my personal and professional background, I am the only one who is able to understand these structures holistically. Even Jan Marsalek probably only saw the money launderers themselves without being able to understand the big picture.
In einem Sonderbericht stellt der Hessische Rechnungshof der Generalstaatsanwaltschaft ein vernichtendes Urteil aus. Keine der für die Behörde vorgeschriebenen Geschäftsprüfungen habe je stattgefunden.
Naja, das simpelste Prinzip ist natürlich, dass ein direkter Vorgesetzter einmal auf die Vorgänge schaut, sie einfach auf Schlüssigkeit hin überprüft, wenn Sie so wollen, von Zeit zu Zeit. Es gibt darüber hinaus eine Innenrevision, die sich einfach die Vorgänge insgesamt über vielleicht auch längere Zeiträume mal anschaut. Und dann gibt es natürlich noch ein Ministerium, was ganz oben drüber sitzt, was auch die Möglichkeit hat, noch einmal zu schauen. Und wenn eins dieser drei schon nicht funktioniert, ist es schlecht. Wenn alle drei nicht funktionieren, ist es ganz schlecht.
If you criticize other authorities, you have to ask yourself what your own standards are. When Mr. Wallman was asked on February 28, 2021 to send me the audit reports on the Hessian state budget in connection with Mr. Schäfer's speculative transactions, he did not respond.
Die Justizministerin muss bei einer Kabinettsumbildung im Mai 2022 gehen. Politische Verantwortung für einen der größten Justizskandale Deutschlands übernimmt niemand.
After Mr. Ryan was promoted from Interior Minister to Prime Minister, he certainly not only thanked his colleague when she left as Hessian Justice Minister for the fact that the scandal surrounding Mr. Badel was successfully contained and did not spread through the Hessian judiciary. He also certainly thanked her for sweeping the nepotism and corruption of the judiciary in Fulda under the carpet.
Badles Zentralstelle für Medizinwirtschaftsstrafrecht wurde aufgelöst und in Fulda mit neuem Personal wieder aufgebaut.